go beyond 1 day. But there are places in Borno, there are places in Kano, there are places in some parts of Lagos that we had to go the whole 7 days. So
Prof, just give us a moment. We're here to interrupt you, but we'll come back and let you finish your thoughts about the sufficient or ensuring sufficient CBT centers. Don't go away, everyone. Welcome back. Prof, could you please go ahead and conclude your thoughts on availability of the CBT centers?
Yes, thank you very much. The point I was trying to make was that the CBT centers are owned by individuals, and we cannot enforce where they will put them. Some places we are saturated already, but we do not have sufficient number in some other places. That's why I said uneven distribution. But I need to quickly add that with my experience at the last UTME examination, I'm compelled to think that it's not just establishment of CBT centers. It must be established by credible individuals. We now have situation that crooks are now establishing, and when I say crooks, I mean crooks, people who have no standard. They are now establishing CBT centers, and they are meeting our requirements only to misuse the opportunity. We have seen so many of such that we want to call on credible Nigerians, credible institutions, government agencies. If we can partner with some federal government or state or public institutions to expand their facilities, I will be more comfortable, because we have seen supposedly highly placed individuals who own CBT centers and are using the CBT centers to perpetuate examination malpractices. They now, if you go on the social media, on the net, you will see many people applying to help students in upgrading. But surprisingly, parents are paying. Parents are paying for such services because they themselves, they are only complaining. They are not genuine in their complaints.
Permit me to just butt in there. How has the CCTV been able to aid the checking of the conduct of the facilitators or the invigilators and the candidates writing the exams?
Yes, it was very, very helpful, because we were able to detect and arrest certain unwholesome practices. Many of the things we got to know, many people did not know that we are aware of such things. And when people talk and we call them quietly and confront them with what we know about them. Your station showed one thing recently, and I was amazed at what I found out about the person who was the most vocal there. And I've invited you to come and see the facts. I was in Lagos at Anthony last week, and somebody was telling me about what happened. I said, bring the candidate. What we found out about the CCTV is that in some instances, they have been able to beat us to it. I give you an example. One in Abuja, a place called Kubwa, where they deliberately went to cover the CCTV with a sack. All the CCTV cameras were covered up, and we had to send our officers there to discover that was, and they were doing some things they were not expected to do. But we were able to catch them because from our control room, we could see that we could not reach them. And we put some highly credible women in Kaduna former vice chancellors, former registrars, about 20 of them were in Kaduna. They had nothing doing during the registration exercise than viewing what was going on in our 642 centers across the country. And in some cases, they would call me and say, look, we couldn't reach so place. When we called them, there were instances that people would say, if I put on the CCTV camera, the computer will not work. There is no correlation at all between the computer and the CCTV camera. But because they discovered that we are able to monitor them, many of them put off the CCTV camera, the CBT center owners. Some of them connived with some of the officials to do certain things. And I also want to say that I'm very proud of the staff of JAMB. Very, very proud of them. In cases where their lives are at risk, they appear to agree with the perpetrators, but they are able to come back with concrete evidence of what is going on.
We have a number of people, pardon me to butt in, there are those who are asking about the results. What's going on with the results? Because some of them say they've not received the results yet.
Yes, those who do not receive, they are qualified not to receive for now. In all the cases where there are no problems, we have released the examination, the results within 24 hours. But those who have not, they may not be culpable, but we are investigating. Where we have reasons to doubt anything, where we have report of anything that was not acceptable to us, we have withheld the results. We have withheld the results, and we keep on releasing them as we clear them. For instance, this morning, we have received another about 15,000 results this morning. But among those who sat in that center, we have reasons now, evidence, concrete evidence, to say about 300 of them, the result will not be released because we knew that they were not in the hall where the examination took place. We are comparing those who sat for the examination, how long they sat in the hall, and when some of them would take excuse that they were going to the toilet only to go to what they call VIP room. All this we are now able to track, and we want to say that we will not hesitate to sanction anybody, no matter how highly placed.
All right, Prof. Let's wind down with this, because I mean some data here shows that of the 1.5 million that write JAMB, the capacity of the institutions is not up to 600.